where did the entrepreneurial instinct or spirit, or where did it come from? I mean, I think I can trace elements of it back to my family. And in that, I mean, I was in the middle of a family of 14. Okay, so I had a lot of brothers and sisters. And so the notion of kind of, having to watch out for yourself while at the same time being, watched out for by others, I think that is part of it. I was the eighth. And so by this time, I think they're thinking, we got too many kids. And if there was any, control over the older ones, by the time I came around, let him do what he wants. So I think maybe the answer is really, if I had an idea and I wanted to try something, my parents just said, go ahead, why not? As long as nobody gets hurt. I was a music major at St. John's. I graduated in '78, as we said, the emphasis in vocal, choral music, secondary, my minor was education. So my intention when I came to St. John's was to go out and be a high school music teacher, because my own high school music teacher was very influential and inspirational to me. Boys Choir, we started it in 1981, and again, this was an initiative of St. John's. Actually, it was a joint initiative of the Abbey, the University, and St. John's Preparatory School. In the case of the St. John's Boys Choir, again, as I mentioned, I went into the Abbot's office, gave him the idea. This is 1981. Just gave him the idea. He said, yes, go and do it. And I, as I said, I didn't know what I was getting myself into, and the Abbey didn't know what it was getting itself into. And so ignorance is part of the equation. And I think that's with any entrepreneurial initiative, is the less you know at the beginning, the better off. So with the St. John's Boys Choir, I think that, certainly one of the things that organization is known for and has been a very important part of its ethos, and one of the things that it delivers to the kid that is in it is international travel. So every other year, the Boys Choir does an international tour. And I think that what that has done in terms of a young man's self-confidence and ability to be away from home, and all of that is very, very important for kids. The creating of music was certainly an essential part of it, and there's been a very significant number, and I don't know what it is, but a number of guys that are graduates of the Boys Choir that have gone on to be professional musicians themselves, either as teachers or performers or what have you. So the making of the music, the rehearsing and the preparing of the music, the performing of the music, and the travel have been really the significant elements in the St. John's Boys Choir. The Benedictine Volunteer Corps is an initiative of St. John's Abbey, and we're now in our 13th year. Started it 13 years ago, and the idea is to provide service experience for graduates of St. John's University in Benedictine monasteries around the world. We started out with 2 sites, one in Puerto Rico and one at Newark Abbey, St. Benedict's Prep in Newark, New Jersey. And so two guys went that year. And now this year we're sending out 20 graduates from the previous class to 9 different destinations around the world. In most of the places, it's usually a teaching work that they do, but also in dispensaries or clinics in especially the countries in Africa. So they've had some tremendous experiences there. Now the Benedictine Volunteer Corps, to be very honest with you, I just started it. And it was really me going to the campus ministry office at St. John's University and saying, I know that you have this money in an endowment that is set aside that you're not using. Can I have it for 2 years to get this thing rolling? Within 4 or 5 years, it had become a thing. And So that's how that started. One of the reasons that I think it has been successful is that early on, I had an awareness that I have to let these men take full responsibility for what they're about to do, what they're going to accomplish, how they're going to take care of themselves, how they're going to grow from this. And I can't legislate it, I can't program it, I can't grab it and make it what I want to be. I have to just completely turn things over to them and let them make the experience what they would. Because there's no way that I can control from Collegeville, Minnesota, what is happening to two Johnny graduates in Katabunga, Zambia. They have to take care of themselves and that. You know, this may be the first time that they've been thrown out and say, make it happen and come back alive. And you've done a good job. The support from the monastic community is fabulous. I mean, it's very, very strong. And I think you need to know that this is a work of St. John's Abbey. I happened to have the idea and light the fire, but it's St. John's Abbey that is behind this thing. And so very specifically, you know, the Abbey contributes whatever would be my salary. So that's a gift in kind by the monastic community at St. John's to its Benedictine Volunteer Corps. Don't be afraid, and don't let people make you afraid. Just take each step. I mean, think about where you're going, take each step, and if that works, then take the next step, and take the next step. Take the necessary steps one by one to get there. Because sometimes if you're either aware of or have the clarity of the idea of where you're going, it really can be rather daunting. You just have to get up every morning and take a shower and say, what am I going to do today to make this thing better?